It's time for Loudest Voice of the Week. Today we're going to be covering a demonstration. Well, it's an interruption. We'll call it an interruption of a shareholders meeting. BNY Mellon is a war profiteering company, a corporation that makes money off of investing in weapons and military contracts for the U.S.-Israel war machine. So they're directly responsible for funding the onslaught and the murder of children and journalists and innocent people in Gaza. They're 100% responsible, and anybody in this meeting needs to know this if they don't know it already. And luckily, this very brave woman, Middle Eastern woman, comes inside to the meeting to tell them what their money and their investments is going to, if they don't know already. And she gets a lot in before they tell her to stop. So let's see what she's able to articulate to this room of people, whatever they are, shareholders, partners, investors, whoever's in this room. It's called BNY Mellon. Let's let the protester, the interrupter, take it away for Loudest Voice of the Week. Here we go.
Invests over £10 million into LOUDEST systems, the largest weapons manufacturers in Israel. Those same bombs that are tearing Palestinian children apart from limb to limb are being invested into by BNY Mellon. BNY Mellon is proudly stamping its name on the massacre of Palestinians. Since the genocide has begun, over 60,000 confirmed murders. And that's not considering the people who are still underneath the rubble. Over the last 2 weeks, over 1,500 Palestinian children have been massacred by the Zionist entity. And BNY Mellon is partnering with the Zionist regime to massacre them. It's a proud partner of the war crimes being committed against the Palestinian people in Gaza as we speak. BNY Mellon has been the target of continuous protests here in Manchester, in New York. It refuses to hear our demands. It refuses to cut its ties with the Zionist regime. Shame on you. We care. I care. I'm sorry if you don't have empathy.
I'm so glad this woman stood up. This is great. We care. I care. I'm sorry you don't have empathy. This is great. So she's getting some backup here. This is awesome.
But I care the people that die under BNY Mellon's BNY Mellon.
Right. So to
you see these uncomfortable people looking at their little iPads or whatever. They're very uncomfortable, and they should be. They should be. I can't imagine sitting in this room and not standing up with this girl. I couldn't imagine not being part of this protest. If not standing up, at least physically in my chair responding. The opposite of what you see in these people, other than the other woman that stood up. These other people just kind of hovered over they're just kind of hovered over their little thing, their little device. They look very uncomfortable, and good. I'm glad they're uncomfortable. That's the point. I'm glad that somebody filmed this and got this out. Maybe the person filming it, maybe, I don't know, I'm just speculating. Maybe they're also on the side of her and they're like, this looks interesting. Let's get this out. That would be cool. So she has a couple supporters in there. That's great. There are a handful of supporters in that room. That's awesome.
Program money.
To say that BNY Mellon is complicit is
so again, I'm a child taking on the chin. Let's go on with this. So to master any anti-program money, you have to know it. You need to know what you need to know what you're changing. You need to know what you're
because they've just found that to capitate
so standardization, when not to use it, want to use it. So before, I did the issue of standardizing my approach by stopping this because I never thought.
Good for her. Good for her. Way to stick it to this. And there's so many other companies like this BNY Mellon out there. This isn't the only one. And this is what just so you guys are clear, you guys know that the college protests are about the same thing. They're about the colleges being the investors of Israel contracts that throws money at this war machine, at the illegal occupations, at the illegal massacrings and targeting of children and journalists and blowing up apartment buildings and starving and cutting off water supplies and murdering and burying aid workers, putting them in a mass grave. This is what these companies do. And you need more protesters. And to come in there by herself, very cool of her to do that. The college campuses have been doing a great job, but we need more outside of the campuses too. So we see that clearly that when you do a good job at this, then they push back more. So there's not, even when you do a good job, there's actually consequences to that. So if more people do it, there will be more arrests. College campuses students are getting arrested right now. They're getting targeted. They're getting kicked out of school. They're getting expelled. But that doesn't stop them. They keep going. And then we need more of these people showing up at these type of whatever these company board meetings, hedge fund meetings, whatever it is, investor stock shit. They need to be protested too. Because wherever that money's coming from, which is here, it's our taxpayer money. It's these corporations are funding this. We need to cut off that funding. It's the only way to stop a genocide. It's the only way. That's how we did it in South Africa. That's how the college students stuck with it year after year after year after year until we finally divested in the war efforts and the genocide efforts in South Africa. We can do it again. We can do it again. This woman gets loudest voice of the week.